What is the deal with pasties? Don't get me wrong here, I absolutely love the old kind of risque aesthetic of nose art and pin-up magazines and the strippers of old, the whole Bettie Page thing, the whole... all of it, the whole burlesque thing. I love it, right? But it is from an age when things were far more prudish, when people's ideas about sexuality and so on were a lot more primitive and odd. You know, this is a time before the pill, before safe abortions, really, before private controllable media like the internet, things that you can firewall behind adult limiters and so on, should you so wish. It's before all of this, before the sexual liberation of the 60s and 70s. Why are we harking back to it? I mean, there's a certain aesthetic, right, that I can understand, but why are we scared of nipples? That's the part I don't understand. I mean, I like that kind of safe for work eroticism aesthetic. I think it's funny, and it says a lot about human nature and how we play around with these things and how we skirt the edge of what's allowed and so on. I've become aware of just how backward the stripping laws are in some states of the US still, all of which seems pointless in the face of the internet and everything. But I think that explains why pasties have made a comeback, why the covering of the nipples has become a thing. Instagram and other social media are full of cosplay models, burlesque people, e-thots, if you want to call it that, all trying to get attention, put their pictures and so on out there. But they're running afoul of increasingly draconian or unequally applied terms of service. So a nipple is fine now on a lot of places, provided there is a baby attached to it. So maybe we need baby-shaped pasties. Maybe that's what will put paid to it. Even covering yourself with your arm or whatever doesn't seem to be enough in some instances. But as a way to try and get around this, the pasties have made a comeback. So you can be practically nude, apart from a couple of things strategically glued to your nipples, which seems odd. And then we have the virtual emoji pasty, which has also come along. Of course, pasty, whenever I read it, I think pasty. It's not particularly helpful for my mindset when looking at these things. But it just seems pointless. Why are we scared of the nipple? To the extent that, that's what the dividing line is between porn and art, is a bare nipple. It just seems peculiar and pointless, right? That is the arbitrary line. And that's where they draw the line on social media. See, this is acceptable, this is not. I can see a nipple versus I can't see a nipple. And a nipple through clothing often runs afoul of things, which makes it even weirder in a lot of ways. Yeah, if you're wearing lace or your shirt's tight or you've got a wet t-shirt or whatever, that's a problem. But stick a heart-shaped pasty over it and you're fine. It's just all so arbitrary. And these social media sites, they're supposed to be for everybody, right? So where is the space for adults on Instagram? Where is the space for adults on Facebook? Twitter's getting worse on this score. Tumblr, of all places, decided to get rid of porn and then was sold for like 1/100th of its original value or something. And the new owners aren't saying that they're going to reinstall adult content in there. And the dividing line is the nipple. It's just weirdly childish, considering infants are the one that they're the ones that get their most hands on nipples. It seems weird. It just seems strange and odd. And while I can appreciate the old aesthetic, and I do like the fact that the kind of safe for work eroticism has come back thanks to Instagram and so on, drawing the line at nipples just seems kind of pathetic, really. Free the Nipple should not just be about non-sexualized nipples or fine art nipples. How do you draw that line? How do you delineate the difference between art and not art, or high art and low art, if you prefer? It's all so subjective, all so pointless. Make it so that adults can see what adults want to see, and let everybody use your platforms. That's what would make more sense. Why leave it to scurry off to the darker corners of the internet where people can be exploited and ripped off? Why? Just makes no sense. Zang.
Word to your mom, came to drop off.